Councilmember Sean Elo Rivera's proposal to increase San Diego's minimum wage for tourism workers to $25 an hour is moving forward. Joining me to discuss why they oppose the wage hike is Victor Lopez, the Executive Director of the Lincoln Com. Victor, welcome back to KUSI.
Always good to be back.
All right, so Sean Elo Rivera was in that very chair last week, and we talked about this. He believes in it. He feels like these people are the people that help drive the economy here in San Diego. They deserve to be better compensated because his point of view is the corporations, somehow he's seeing record profits at all these hotel chains that are out of town, raking in record profits. Why shouldn't the worker bees share in that? You say.
First of all, I see the wage headline of $25 as a minimum wage increase, right, for that industry. My headline that I read is small businesses are under attack. And the club strongly opposes, we've been around for over 40 years, and these are the types of mandates that cripples small businesses. When you have a 45% increase going from $17.25 to $25, that's not just a 10%, 20% increase like most other jobs would imply, right? This is a suffocating policy, and it's gonna force a lot of businesses to adapt, and that means cut jobs, prices going up, and ultimately San Diegans feeling that effect.
Well, I brought that up with him. I said to the council member, I said, hey, listen, this is fast food all over again. And the second this goes into play, fast food jobs are going to be hemorrhaging, and they'll be asking some workers to do more. They're going to, robots are going to start pushing forward for wherever they can in the tourism industry. And that the same person that is celebrating their job raising from 17 to 25 is going to get a notice saying, oh, by the way, one of you is going to have to go, and it's going to be you.
It's very difficult seeing the same workers that are fighting for this that might actually be the ones to lose their job at the end of this. That Berkeley Research Group did a study on that, and over 10,000 jobs ended up being lost as a result of the fast food bill. It was Assembly Bill 1228, and it goes to show you the headline reads real well at the beginning for people that are going to get that immediate impact and have that revenue come in for their minimum wage. But then when you go down the line, when businesses have to look at what they're going to have to do to fill that bottom line and not stay in the red, they're going to have to adapt. Look at what happens at a McDonald's. What happens? You have a bunch of electronic machines now taking orders aside from the kitchen, and that's a result of California bad policies.
And I told him that, and he pushed back saying, no, there are studies now showing that the fast food industry is rebounding, and I don't see it. And I'm a fast food junkie, so I know it. It's anecdotal, I agree, but longer wait times, poorer service, and fewer bodies in the building. But let's not even focus on that, because right now I want to know what is a guy who sells concessions at Petco Park, is that person considered a tourism worker? Because Petco Park is a tourism site for a lot of people that come to town. I mean, what is a tourism worker and what isn't a tourism worker?
So that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That's one thing the city is going to have to do a really good job of explaining who's going to fall under this ordinance right now, because right now there's a couple things up in the air of, yes, who's going to be affected by that directly? Is it going to be just places like Petco Park, or what's going to happen with the small businesses? And actually a thing I wanted to raise is that, what about the exemptions? Who is going to be exempt from these types of policies?
I bet you the government agencies are, right?
Well, the last thing we want is to have only the private sector affected. And so, I think we need to look at the language on what they're going to tee up there. But if the government's going to implement this minimum wage increase and the private sector is going to be affected, well, let's make sure that the government is also maybe taking a taste of their own medicine.
Well, and there is the alliance between unions and progressive politicians. Look at our city council. They're all bought and paid for by union money, and they in turn have this carve out for a policy that favors their union revenue stream that the private sector has to pay for and suffer from. And so until you deal with, I think the voter ID issue comes into play here. Until you deal with voter ID and we get some fairer elections, California's lost.
It's funny you say that, because believe it or not, I believe the general population does actually have a good sense of common sense when you put the right information in front of them. Look what happened with Measure E. That was raising the sales tax from 7.75 to 8.75. Voters in San Diego rejected that, and that was proposed by some of those same people elected to some of these seats. So I think when people find out what's actually happening and the language and the facts are put in front of them, they'll be able to understand what's actually going to happen here. But it takes guys like us being able to jump on the news here in the morning and be able to elaborate on what's happening here.
Well, now we're going to pay $50 for our trash, and we're going to pay $9 to park our car, and so they'll figure out a way around that. Victor, I suspect this conversation is not over yet, but we will continue to talk about it in the coming weeks, months, and year. Okay?
Far from over. The Lincoln Club has always been ready to spearhead these issues, and this is another one that is a top priority for us.
All right, Victor, have a safe day. Let's check out